Well done, people. It's your boy Into Spurs back here with another video. Now, I was meant to be doing a match reaction yesterday, but so much things happened. Um, I didn't even know how to even title this video because there was so many things happening after this one match, and ultimately, it's really frustrating because there was a massive improvement in how we were actually playing in terms of it was we actually did try. We created a lot of chances, and I have to give it to the players on the pitch. We did intend to play football. Too many games this season we have decided to sit back and contain and play for long balls and just play zero football, really and truly. But against Bournemouth, it was quite different. We actually tried to attack for the first time in a long while, and a few players that I feel like in all the negativity that has happened over this last 48 hours, a few players like stepped up. Tel, his first goal. Honestly, he improved. He showed us why we should at least give him more game times for him to develop. And with all the injuries that we actually have as well, and the news around Tell saying he wants out, it'll be outrageous to let him go in this crucial time. You know what? Look, for me, the match speaks for itself. I've already said Frank for me isn't the coach for our future. We we're gonna have to look to move forward at some stage, but yeah, no. Tell, his performance was quite good. That first goal where he shot from a quite a tight angle and it just went into the bottom right corner. That was a good first goal, right? And throughout the match, there was so many talking points on that match. Throughout the match, we saw the intent. We didn't really sit back. We tried. Essentially the tactics are flawed. The players clearly don't like how we're playing. But let me just pause on this match reaction. I also want to mention something that Frank done that really, really, really upset me. Or it didn't just upset me. It made me realize that this manager is not for Tottenham. He was seen drinking out of an Arsenal cup before before the game. Like let's make it clear. You are you are at Bournemouth drinking from an Arsenal cup. So you're telling me that you couldn't see that there was an Arsenal. It just makes no sense. I don't. And then his response to it was, "I wasn't aware." Like, come on, you're representing Tottenham, and that's another thing that is really frustrating about Tottenham. We have so many Arsenal affiliated affiliated members. Vinay, he's from Arsenal. And look, let's be honest with you. We're all fans, right? You never stop supporting your team, whether you work in a certain scenario. You never stop supporting. So it kind of like pans over. So for Frank to be drinking out of an Arsenal cup before the game was just it was a shock to my system. So realistically, he should be sacked for that. Personally, I'm when I saw them images, I thought, yeah, maybe it's AI, maybe it's fake, maybe it's an old photo. But no, it came out that he drank from a cup the same day. So for that, he should be sacked. I can't lie to you. That's my stance. I generally, when I saw them images, I said, nah, we need to get rid of we need to get rid of Frank. Now, see, there's so many things that happened. It's like one thing after the other thing, and look, I'm trying to make this video like a match reaction, but talk about all the other things that was happening within that one game, you know, because a bit of look, like I said, I think it was a better performance. You know, we did perform better than what we have the last 6 months. You know, like the Sunderland game, we did actually perform much better. Obviously, we drew that game, but it's still not good enough for Tottenham. The standard at Tottenham is still not good enough. Now, I just want to talk about an incident that happened after the game. You know, between Van der Ven. It started with Van der Ven going up to the away fans, you know, and I don't know exactly what was said, but it was a really heated discussion. And then it resulted in Palhinha and Pedro Porro and a few other players coming over, you know. I think Vicario came over, you know. And it looked really, really negative, you know. And this is where I kind of like draw the line, because I feel like we're focusing the blame on the wrong people, you know. I think the players are forced in a way to play the way we're playing, you know. I don't think Frank's tactics ultimately suit our players, you know. And you can tell they did try. This game, I can actually say on my with my heart, like, even though I was always against Frank, I never wanted Frank at Tottenham, I can actually say that Frank's tactics are affecting the players. And this game, they did actually try. They did try. Um, um, and look, I don't know what was said by with the away fans, and I can kind of understand as well. Some of the away fans feel like they've travelled to Timbuktu for them to see another loss, another draw, you know, and it can get really frustrating. But we have to support the Spurs players, because one, they are representing us as a fan base, and we have to stay with them. If we're not with them, and we're not spreading our support to the players, next game they might not want to even try and play. And it might sound really bad that I say it in that way, but to actually add on to this whole incident that happened after the game, our club captain Cristian Romero posted something damning on Instagram, and for me, I actually agree with every single thing he said. You know, he first apologized for the performance, and and every single game we're hearing apologies. It's getting to the point where sorry don't mean nothing, really and truly. You know, when you say sorry, it should mean something, but it just keeps reoccurring. But see, this is where I don't blame the players, because realistically, the problem lays bigger than just the players. You know, so he posted something on his Instagram story, um, along the lines of, and look, as you guys know, I'm quite late in it, but it's all over X, it's all over Instagram, it's all over all social media, so nobody would have been able to miss this. But I just want to deep dive into a few of the things that he said. You know, he says if I'm going to summarize, yes, I will step up and say sorry, but it's not for me to say sorry. Other people in the board have to step up and answer for the crimes that we're seeing, you know. And you can see that the dressing room is not happy. We're in a dark place as a Tottenham fan. So, you know, like, for our captain to come out and say, like, our board have to step up and speak up, you know, it's damning. It's damning for the board. You know, you're throwing your employees under the bus, realistically, because they're only. It's look, I don't know, like, because this is the first time something like this has happened, to the point where and you know, the worst thing with this Instagram post, a lot of our Spurs fans have liked it, have actually said, yes, speak up. You know, Palhinha, Pedro Porro, if I'm going to mention a few names, you know, Richarlison as well, has said, yes, you're right. You know, like, Romero has directly called out the ENIC family. Well, not just the ENIC family, our board in general. And when when you call when you when you really look at it like this, we have been lied to. We were told that this is going to we the reason we sacked Ange and the reason why we let Levy, well, Levy stepped down. You know, he still has his shares, but the reason why the Levy family have done Levy family, the ENIC family have done what they've done, you know, it's for a change. You know, it's an ENIC 2.0. We're looking to become better, you know. And realistically, it's all lies. They have been lying to us, and Romero has hit the nail on the head. We have been lied so much over the last 26 or 25 years since the ENIC family have taken over Tottenham. It's been lie after lie after lie, and look, nothing's improving. You can see the players are not happy, the fans are not happy, and right now our transfer policy on our transfers are a shambles. We've got our director, or whatever you want to call her, our negotiator. He's looking to exit the club. It looks like he's going to Florentina, and see that's just look. January's here. We should be realistically should be focusing on improving this Tottenham squad, but there's so many problems that I don't know who. And you know what? When you actually deep it, if a player calls out the ownership, you know, one, it's clearly not getting run correctly. Two, what players will want to come to Tottenham? That's another thing that you have to actually understand. Nobody's going to want to work in an environment that is toxic. It's toxic right now. It's so toxic that, believe me, look. We sold Johnson. Do you think Johnson was looking to stay around? You know, it's quoted that he wasn't in Frank's plan. But realistically, if I was in his shoes and another team come calling for me, I would jump ship. Tell. Look, he said he's frustrated. He doesn't. He clearly wants out. A lot of this Tottenham squad clearly don't believe in the project, you know? And this goes back down to, what is this project? What are we thriving for? What is the solution? We have so many questions, no answers, you know? There's no direction. We don't know what our future is. We don't know where we're going to become, you know? And look, thankfully, there's 3 worse teams in this league than Tottenham, you know? However, if we don't improve now, or we don't improve soon, next year we could be we could be one of them 3 teams going down. And that's my biggest fear, because look, we saw it last year. We finished one of our lowest positions, 17th, and that was not good enough. And look, the way it's going, we're on track to finishing lower, you know, low. It's still not good enough. It's still not the standard for Tottenham. And look, oh yeah, look, see, there's so many things that have happened over these last 48 hours. It's quite hard to talk about everything, but another injury. Lucas Bergwijn looks like a massive injury to his groin. The same injury that he had before, which tells us that he was rushed back, because look, he's come back this game, and ultimately it was when you say low impact, because it was a low impact. He wasn't on the ball. He went down on his own, while I think jogging. It was kind of like in the thrive, so he was jogging back, but he's now injured again. So now we need to question our medical team, Frank, you know, all of these parts, because I remember 18 months ago when we had that injury crisis, when Ange started rushing players back, he got criticised massively. So we have to have the same energy for Frank, because Frank is doing the exact same thing, you know? And yeah. Oh yeah, cool. Back to the match reaction. I'm so sorry. Didn't really touch much into it, you know? So yeah, ultimately 3-2, you know. Difficult game. In terms of like, look, the first 15 minutes was really good for Tottenham, and then the last 15 minutes was really good for Tottenham. In the in the middle of the game, it was quite up and down. You know, we did create chances. They had good chances. Their style of play was quite. You know, the way the way we scored when we scored the first goal early, their response was really good. Bournemouth's response was really good, and ultimately they equalised again. You know, see, everything's a blur, man. I can't. It's been so stressful. I can't even remember exactly what happened. I just remember the first goal and the last goal. And you know what? Big up Semenyo. You know, for 90 minutes he was a no-show. You know, but look, that's what you call quality. That's what you really call quality, to be honest with you. You know, um, in the moment, at the right time, when you need your main man, he provides. Look at our Tottenham squad. We don't have many main men to provide. You know, we don't have a top. We don't have that star to take the game by the scruff of the neck, or do something special. You know, um, I thought Palhinha was quite good, you know, in terms of his ball retention, you know. He made a few good blocks. I also thought Romero was amazing, you know. He won every header. He was on the front foot. You know, to be honest with you, he had a great game in terms of in a defensive quite of structure. He didn't make that many mistakes. I think Spence was quite sloppy in terms of his passing. However, his actual defensive draws were quite good as well. He did perform okay, you can say. I thought Javi Simmons had a few good touches. Clearly did miss a creative option, and yeah, look, we did play like it was a much better game. You know, it's just we lost. You know, and for me, you can tell the boys gave it all. You know, we can just only support them and only like I don't know, man. Now, my biggest concern about Frank getting sacked. Look, ultimately, I never wanted Frank, and I make that really, really clear whenever I talk about Frank. But ultimately, we can't sack him right now. You know, there's so many problems within Tottenham. And look, even though I mentioned like seeing Frank at the start of the game drinking from an Arsenal cup, yeah, he should be sacked. Yeah, 100%. My issue with if we sack him right now, who are we gonna first bring in? You know, I actually watched Sean Butler and Sava before coming on to do my match reaction, and Sean mentioned something really really important. You know, obviously the payout would be 12 million to Frank, but including his staff around 14 to 15 million. And then it's like, are we going to start again midway through the season when in summer you've got many managers that are going to be open to moves, you know, like Poch. Like personally, I think the main goal should be to entice Poch to come back. You know, I think Poch should be our next manager. I can't support this Frank Ball. I think his philosophy just doesn't work at Tottenham. You know, but our main moves should be to bring back Poch. You know, so now if we do if we do sack Frank, it has to be for a caretaker manager to just get us to the end of the season, or we just give Frank the season and then say thanks for your time, goodbye. You know, but Yeah, man. Another loss, man. Well, another loss. It's the same thing. Another loss, another draw. It's all the same, man. Another loss. Tottenham's poor.